All right. Hello and good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Axel1324.
And I'm Cool Cat Terry.
And I don't know if you guys can see this guy down here at the bottom here. None other than Noof Nukem. Good morning, Noof.
Boom, boom, kaboom. It's Noof Nukem back in the Good Morning Xbox room. It is good to be here. It is a fantastic Sunday morning so far. Sorry it took me a little bit longer to join up with you guys. Had to get some hot Java in me here. So let's get this rolling.
Let's do it. Oh, man. And again, guys, sorry we missed last week. Some personal stuff happened. But we're back on the air, getting back to normal. And, man, I decided to miss a very important week in Xbox news, but thankfully we're going to talk about it this week. But before we get to it, let's check in with the iconic chat here. We got Doggy Dog 420 saying good morning, everybody. Doggy Dog up early as always, has to take a bathroom break. Let's see. We got Dan, the man Cunningham, in here. He says, morning, y'all. How you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us, Dan. You are the real MVP. Of course, shout out to my beautiful wife, Luis Vian, who gives us heart hands. Thank you so much for being the MVP of my life. And let's see. Oh, there we go. They'll show up. Okay, the hearts show up there. We got Web Dave, who recently did an interview with Cool Cat Terry. Great interview, by the way. Shout out to Web Dave for also interviewing myself and Noof Nukem. We've all been interviewed by Web Dave. Shout out to him, putting in the work. Thank you so much for being here, Web Dave. You are the real MVP. Oh, my wife says, Mr. Noof looks so different. Looks younger and shiny.
Younger and shiny. I've heard the younger part before. The shiny, not so much.
You look brand new. Look at you.
That's it.
So, Noof,
Fountain of rejuvenation. Sorry?
How have you been, Noof?
For the most part, X, I've been pretty good. Obviously, definitely, I would say doing better than you have been of recent. So again, sorry to hear the news, but we're glad to have you back. And again, it's life. Life throws you big curveballs, and you got to have your catcher's mitt ready at any time, right?
That's right.
But no, man, I'm good. As I was saying to Cool Cat Terry last night, and myself and her and Mental, we were just discussing things about our podcast, and I was saying like just with gaming right now, it's an amazing time to be a gamer. I've never been so busy with games. It's almost daunting because every time I turn on my console, it's like I've got so much backlog and so many games to play, both new and old and everything in between, and it's crazy, and the breadth of amazing games that have come out this year and in the past 6 or 7 weeks alone is just it's just nuts. Just to think that a game like Diablo 4 was like burning the bridges, so to speak, not so long ago. It's kind of cooled off as everybody's moved on to different things. It's just it's the gaming world we live in right now. It's like, man, if you're not with it, it's you get buried in it pretty quick.
Yeah, no. What a year in gaming, indeed. A lot of people are comparing this to the best year of gaming, saying that it is quite possibly the best year in gaming so far.
Yeah, it's definitely debatable, but it's right up there.
Yeah, I would say, I think it rivals, I think they're saying 2008, 2007 was the best year before, considered to be the top dog year, if you will.
Yep.
So, yeah, so the best year in gaming, though, what currently has your game of the year so far?
Ooh, that's a great question. But so far, I'm gonna have to say it's got to be Spider-Man 2. Um, just because the amount of fun that I have when I boot that game up, and I don't know if it's a combination of the fact that it's just a solid game that builds upon a fantastic foundation that was laid by Spider-Man and Miles Morales before it, and the fact that it just does that but gets a little bigger, and it's just a ton of fun to play. Not everybody's going to be a fan, but honestly, it's just I got to give it to them. I kind of figured it might be. Um, Starfield was good for me for a bit, but that's the whole point. Like Starfield just kind of lost me. I literally felt like I got lost in the stars with that game. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with that one. So far, I mean, I'm not even finished the game. I just started it, but I'm enough hours in to tell you it's been the most enjoyable experience this year. So that's why I'd have to go with that one.
All right, awesome. Well, there you go. That's what has Noof Nukem's vote come the Game Awards. which should be on. They should be voting now because it starts in November, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see. Is a voting open to the public yet? Anybody know?
No, haven't seen anything announced, so I'm going to say no.
I haven't seen anything at all. Let's see. Dan the Man Cunningham says, I don't envy the choice for Game of the Year with all the candidates. Yeah, it's crazy. And shout out to Sir X-Man for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Sir X-Man. You are the real MVP. Also up bright and early. I know Sir X-Man stays up late. So, yeah, he is up bright and early. But let's get right into it, guys. We're going to start with some news from last week's news. First and foremost, let me see if I can get this to zoom in. Oh, no, it keeps crushing it right back down. So, first and foremost, guys, Pete Hines is leaving Bethesda finally after 24 years. I think you've done an incredible job if you've been able to stay somewhere for 24 years. That is an insane amount of time to be anywhere. It all almost entirely in one company. That is amazing. So let's read Pete Hines' statement real quick. He says, after 24 years, I decided my time at Bethesda Softworks has come to an end. I am retiring and will begin an exciting new chapter of my life, exploring interests and passions, donating my time where I can, and taking more time to enjoy life. This was not a decision I came to easily or quickly, but after an amazing career culminating in the incredible launch of Starfield, it feels like the time is right. It's certainly not a goodbye by any means. My love of Bethesda and its people has never wavered. I will never stop being a part of this incredible community. We have grown. Thank you to the hundreds and thousands of fans I've gotten to meet and talk to over the last 24 years. Your energy, creativity, and support has been such a big part of my journey. I look forward to experiencing the next part of the adventure alongside with you. Working with the amazing people, teams, and studios at Bethesda has been the greatest experience of my life. I'm incredibly proud of everything we have done together, and I'm genuinely blah, 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 excited to see the amazing things that we'll create next. Love you guys. Pete Hines, 24 years, Bethesda. Terry, what do you think? Was it time? Was Pete Hines washed up and it was time for him to get on with it?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know much about Pete Hines because the only thing I ever, when it comes to Bethesda, the only person anybody ever talks about is Todd Howard. So, like, I really don't know what Pete Hines did. You know what I mean? Because, like, good or bad when it comes to Bethesda, you're either going to love Todd Howard or you're going to blame Todd Howard. Like, I've never heard anybody be like, Pete Hines. Like, I've never heard anybody, call Pete Hines out. It's always Todd Howard, because he's like the face. So, I don't know what he did, honestly. I'm sure he was a big decision maker, but honestly, like I said, he wasn't like, no one ever talked about him.
This was literally launched every Bethesda game show ever.
But nobody ever talked about
not
it.
Game show, but showcase.
Like I said, like Todd Howard kind of was the face, so he kind of took all the credit for stuff, So, like, I don't know anything about Pete Hines. Like I've heard his name, in passing on occasion, but like, no one talks about Pete Hines.
Oh, man.
Well, we're talking about him this morning.
Yeah, now
he's the big
I'm
man.
forced to talk about Pete Hines. I know nothing about Pete Hines. I just know that he worked for Bethesda and now he retired. Okay.
Poor Pete Hines.
Poor Pete Hines.
Poor Petey.
You let Todd Howard steal too much of the spotlight, because like he's the one everybody knows. So like,
right.
I wish I could say more about the man. I could talk about Bethesda. Since he was the one that basically, like I said,
he's the founder.
So like, I mean, he founded it, but it doesn't. I don't know. I know nothing about the man. I just know that Bethesda has a reputation with their games. They're pretty much all the same, and they always have bugs, and that's pretty much that. Like they have their own. Like they have their own formula. You know a Bethesda game when you play it, even if no one told you it was a Bethesda game. If you started playing a Bethesda game, you'd be like, "Oh, this is a Bethesda game," because they're all the freaking same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Elder Scrolls or Fallout or even Starfield. They all play the freaking same. So you know, so I guess, you know, give them a pat on the back for creating a formula that works. We made them a lot of money, but you know, I really can't say anything because I don't know anything about them, and I wish Bethesda would do more creatively and, you know, and actually make franchises that don't feel like all the other ones, you know, stand out a bit more, you know, because you know, they're all the same. You know, you can go and look at other companies that have a lot of different franchises, and you could tell the difference between each franchise. You know, not them all being like a freaking vomit mixture of each other. So
Dang. Now you
The
know how I feel
analogy of the
about
morning.
Ubisoft.
The vomit mixture that is Bethesda games, according to Terry. Yeah, the vomit.
yeah, you know, it's like they created Elder Scrolls. They're like, okay, this stuff works. You know, fantasy's like, you know, got the one niche. Let's go more apocalyptic. You know, kind of a thing. Let's take the stuff that works in that. We'll throw it in this one. We'll reskin it, and you know, make money. You know, and it worked. Like, okay, we got the dystopian future. We got fantasy. Now let's do sci-fi. So let's take those things that worked in those two. And once again, we're gonna rehash it and reskin it. And we have Starfield. So, you know, so it's like,
oh man,
it's Bethesda.
It is.
They get
Bethesda.
away with that
Bethesda
kind of
definitely does have not just one game. You forgot, you know, they also have Wayne Gretzky hockey. You know, back in the day.
No one cares about that.
Don't forget Bethesda publishes Wolfenstein and Doom and all those games.
Yeah,
too.
they
those
publish
came
it.
from id. Those aren't
right. They're
They publish them, but they don't make them. That's probably why those games actually have some, you know, some flavor. You know, because they didn't actually make them. You know.
Well, would Dishonored be more of a Bethesda? Because that's Arcane. Was Arcane acquired or was it like an expansion?
I think Arcane was acquired. I think at some point.
All right. Well, there you go. Either way, we wouldn't have Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, you know, the new Wolfenstein series or any of that without Pete Hines.
Right.
So even though Bethesda themselves have a certain framework, they still supported other people's creative visions, not just Todd Howard's, or as we like to call him here, God Howard's.
I don't call him that.
You know, that's the way that went. So shout out to Pete Hines. Noof. Pete Hines retired 24 years of Bethesda. He oversaw the acquiring of the merger with ZeniMax. He oversaw the merger with Arcane, with what's the Machine Games. They launched Alpha Dog for their mobile division, and he was there to oversee the merger with Xbox. Pete Hines, Noof.
Pete Hines. Well, like I said, I don't know the man personally, but you know, actually, you're right. He you know, outside of Todd Howard, he was the most notorious face of Bethesda games, right? I mean, he basically was the man who dominated the E3 stages, would come out, introduce all these games, you know, and you always had a sense that he was very passionate and proud of a lot of his titles and his studios, and had a very almost serious sense of focus, you know, like to me, he kind of looked like one of those kind of guys you'd be a little bit intimidated with if he got mad, you know, kind of deal. But it's sad to see him go. Obviously, it doesn't quite sound like he's done with the industry. Perhaps he may land somewhere else. Maybe he's been given other offers. I get the weird sense from some of his interviews in the past, you know, 6 or 7 months when he's talked to people that I don't think he's 100% on board with sort of the direction of where Bethesda's been sort of heading. There might be internal conflicts. I mean, it's no secret that, yes, and we can still chalk a lot of things up to COVID, but, you know, Bethesda was pumping out games at a pretty good clip there for a while. Like, remember when they would just surprise launch a lot of stuff and just, this game is coming out in 6 months. Well, it seemed like they were working on Starfield forever. I mean, it's finally out the door, and I'm pretty sure because he was a huge part of that launch and everything surrounding it, that he wanted to stay on at least to see that baby, you know, come to fruition. But I just get this weird internal feeling like he's not 100% happy there anymore, and it was now time to switch over and lead. And it's just, I don't know. To me, I guess it's because everything that's been going on at Xbox in general over the past 2 years, with so many people departing from major roles and major leads in studios, and we can chalk things up to the contractual people that leave studios. But I don't think it's any secret anymore that there's definitely a dumpster fire going on internally at Xbox somewhere along the lines, and hopefully this new restructuring, which you're going to talk about a little bit later in the program, helps to get things sort of back on track, because I definitely think that there's a quality control issue. There is a few other issues, I think, at the helm of Xbox, and they need to get some of their house in order. They got to figure out how to get games out at a sort of a more reasonable pace, because that is vital to the success and longevity of Game Pass subscriptions, which is obviously where they're heading now, whether I like it or lump it. So yeah, but back to Pete Hines, I think he's done a great job. I mean, overall, and that's just a fan's perception. I mean, I don't know. I mean, internally, people would say whether he was amazing or he was difficult. You never really hear any of these reports to the contrary. But again, Pete Hines, man, like I said, great job. I love seeing you up on the stage and introducing all these fantastic games. And whether it is sort of you take another career path or you end up somewhere else, they'll be lucky to have you, I'm sure, a guy with your vast knowledge and expertise. So all the best to him, man. It's like, it's sad to see him go, and that just means there's more weight on the shoulders of Todd Howard. Like I said, it takes all the praise or the criticisms. It's kind of like a Phil Spencer scenario. He gets blamed for every game that doesn't score like 9 out of 10. Well, it's Phil Spencer's fault. Phil Spencer's got nothing to do with creating these games. He oversees them, but he doesn't build the damn things,
Right.
So yeah, but he is the face. It's like I said, you become the face of a franchise, or certainly one of the faces of the franchise, and you take flack from every direction. So, but anyway, kudos to Pete Hines, man.
Yeah, definitely. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Sarah Blow joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah Blow. You are the real MVP. Princess Zelda, she's in. She says, good morning, Axel, Cool Cat Terry, and Noof. Thank you so much for joining us, Princess Zelda. Let's see. You go, some Give Award stuff. Web Dave says, nominees will be announced in November and the award show in December 7th. So, all right. Almost there. Gogo Polo says, LOL, thank you so much for joining us. Gogo Polo, you are the real MVP. Let's see. Gogo Polo feels that Noof is anti-Xbox. You should worry more about Sony. But Dan the Man Cunningham says, I agree with you on that, Noof. Some comments he made you think that he wasn't on board with what was happening, and I don't think he wanted to cut out Sony. So, yeah, people will always have opinions on him, but this is what this is all about. It's all about the opinions, guys. And you even in the chat, you can see some people disagree and agree. So, yeah. But let's bring in someone in new here. We got Eternal Shaddai finally waking up. What's going on?
My damn alarm. I look at the timer. It was already 9-something Eastern. I'm like, really? I woke up late.
So Shaddai, good to see you, brother.
We are back together.
Yeah.
It's so weird, because normally we see Shaddai from up here, and now we're seeing him from down here. So.
Yeah, because I'm trying to look for a really good angle with my camera, and I can't find the sweet spot.
Man, if you got Scrub showing up and Cranky Paul, we'll have a real party.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Shaddai, you were in with God Howard here. Do you know about Pete Hines? We're talking about Pete Hines.
For some reason, I'm thinking of the underwears. I think that's
Hines.
Yeah,
Hines.
Hines, not Pete.
You know what's funny? I was doing the Xbox International Podcasting Espanol, and I'm like, the first time I saw his name, I thought it was Pete Hines. I'm like, is that the one that makes the underwear? They're like, no, it's Hines. It's Hines.
It's Hines.
It's Hines.
Hines ketchup.
I agree.
Yes, please don't tease Pete Hines so much. What if I one day are lucky to have him on the show? He'll see this.
No, but yes, I did saw that he left Bethesda kind of weird at the same time, but at the same time I do understand. And it's like 24 years in the studio, in the company. So I just wish him the best. He have done a lot of good work with Bethesda. The only thing that having changed is the title of Bethesda is still stuck with that company. So like everybody could leave the company and that name is still gonna be there. But I just wish him the best. It's kind of weird. He leave. Then we have Major Nelson leave.
Yeah.
Now
Nelson retired. Yeah.
Yes, and this year has been really busy of people retiring, and Jim Ryan left too. So let's see.
Yeah. Jim Ryan retiring too. Yeah, that's right.
I have
Everybody
have
was
a
leaving.
feeling. I have a feeling they're calling. They're calling each other. Like, you know what? Let's plan this. Let's go. Let's leave all at once. But
They're creating their own golf tournament. That's why they're retiring.
Well,
2020,
1999, 2020 must have been a really busy year for people, game devs getting hired, because they're all retiring right around the 25-year mark,
I mean, it was what a
But, I mean,
coincidence that
25
everybody's
years at a
leaving.
company is a long time. I mean, sooner or later you gotta enjoy your life and do something else with it. But some people, they like to work till they essentially till they pass out at work. Some people believe that you will pass away once you stop working. Once you stop giving your life that work, your body that work, it just gives up and dies. Like, some people don't know how to retire, but hopefully Pete Hines will be able to enjoy his retirement.
Well, he got those underwears money too, so.
Oh my goodness.
He's got Michael Jordan to hang out with in his underwear. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah. But lots of people retiring all over the industry. I mean, even just to jump on here on the retirement talk, Jim Ryan leaving Sony, but also that lady, what was her name? That she had some like
Bonnie Ross left too. Bonnie Ross too. So
what was her name that retired from Sony? The head of
the one that got kicked out like not too long ago.
I don't know if she got kicked out. From what I
don't know the way it sounded.
David Jaffe reported on Twitter that something big was coming, and that the PlayStation he knew was no longer going to exist. And the next day, one of the what is it? Head of creation, was it? Retired. What is her name? Anybody know her name? Anybody know who I'm talking about?
She is so popular that we don't even know her name.
Yeah.
Well, she might not be popular.
She's like Pete Hines. No one knows anything about her.
Yeah,
that's true.
So she's also retiring.
She's going with him making also underwear. Whoever's retired, let's go over there. But anyways, let
me see.
No, but Bonnie Ross left from 343.
Yeah, Bonnie Ross got basically kicked out.
Bonnie Ross,
as much as I love Bonnie Ross for taking on the Halo mantle, and that was always going to be a heavy thing to take on. It's can't deny that Halo's better since she left. I mean, just saying.
That guy that took over, man, the latest guy, I forget his name, but man, like Halo is. I was playing last night, with Iceman and Game Down Sights and You're Wicked Hot, and I can tell you, man, that game has resurged. It's looking and playing better than ever. It's back, baby. I think people should jump back into Halo because they did a great job and they've added some amazing maps, and it feels like content is finally starting to come out. So I don't know what happened over there, but somebody went in and started putting some boots to asses over there and got shit going in the right direction.
It's funny because I was
they probably went up to someone like Goofy, like, get your Java later, code first. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's Halo's in a much better state since that, and sometimes you do need to shake up the ship because certain people are used to working a certain way, and maybe this is the case with Pete Hines. He's just accustomed to being in charge, not being able to do whatever he wants, all this stuff, and maybe the Microsoft structure just doesn't work for him. Not everybody can adjust to that big corporate Microsoft structure.
Right.
So maybe he did leave because he got chased out because it's just not his environment. He can't thrive in it.
Right.
And that's just what he chose. He's like, you know what? 24 years is a long time. Yeah. I think I'm going to get going.
Even Shinji Mikami left to Tango. See,
Mikami left. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy from that did Hi-Fi Rush, Tango GameWorks guy left. The who did Shinji Mikami work for? He worked for Platinum Games. No,
I think it was Capcom.
I left.
I think.
It's just like a lot of retirements this year. So we're having the greatest year in gaming and the greatest year of retirements.
They want to leave on a high note, because they didn't leave during the pandemic when it was awful.
That's actually true.
They didn't leave when they could work from home.
They stuck that out, but now that they're on a high note, now let's leave.
Yeah, so it's just things are changing very quickly in the gaming space. I think in the net, and of course we won't see the fruits of these changes for 6 years. The new games won't come out for 6 years, so forth and so on. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully in 6 years, 2029, 2030 is going to be the next greatest year in gaming. Hopefully. So we'll see. Let's see. Let's check in with the chat. Let's see. Crazy Greek Dude joins us. Shout out to Crazy Greek Dude. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the real MVP. And Gregor Paul here says it. Connie Booth. That's right. That's her name. Connie Booth. Yeah. So Connie, let me look her up real quick. Booth. She had some over 1,000 credit. Her name was mentioned in over 1,000 games over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. So she is out of there. So again, another executive with 25 plus years at PlayStation. 25 plus seems to be the sweet mark. She leaves. Fun speculation. Mav is here. Thank you so much for joining us, Mav. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. He says, Pete Hines was great for a long time for Bethesda, but he really wasn't all in with being Xbox first party. Glad he rode off into the sunset. Yeah, maybe he just, like I said, it wasn't his corporate structure.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Happy Cloud Gamer joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Cloud Gamer, you are the real MVP. He says, have a great stream. I can't stay. My youngest daughter is at cheerleading training to be picked up now. Yeah, definitely pick her up. Don't be late. Don't leave her on the street, man. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Pete Hines didn't apologize to anyone when he took the checks for timed exclusive games for PlayStation. That's right. And why would you? It's just business, right? Why would you apologize for making money? No, if you ever going to apologize for making money?
No.
Like, no.
No, why should I? See, you left the prison cell. Good for you.
Different angle. You ever going to apologize for getting that extra pack of smokes?
Hey, don't make me bring my weapon. I still have it.
There you go. Yeah, he didn't apologize for making exclusive games for PlayStation, and why should he? He shouldn't. Do I think it sucks? Yeah, of course. As a gamer, as an Xbox primary, favorite platform gamer, yeah, I thought it sucked. But, from a professional standpoint, we all, what is it? The $1 Million Man always says everybody's got a price,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. For the right price, I'll change this to Good Morning PlayStation. Just saying, guys, I'm open. I'm open to bribes. Yeah. Let's see. Whoops. Shale Walker. Shout out to Shale Walker. Thank you so much for joining us. He says, saw the Xbox news release that Cool Cat Terry's being promoted to Cool Dog Terry. What do you think about that, Cool Cat?
No.
Oh, man. I love the energy today. Love it. Yeah. And Hideki Kamiya, he's the one that retired from Platinum Games, the one that would block everybody. So he announced it to all three people that he did not block. Let's see. Hideki's going to do something, and he planned to leave Tango. Oh, sorry, that was the Tango GameWorks guy. I'm sorry, I had my guys backwards.
Yeah.
Leave Tango. Even before the acquisition, he had let it be known. Yeah, and he said he's basically going to keep doing it. Yeah. And that's right. Media Molecule also did some layoffs, 20% of the layoffs. Yeah. So, yeah, lots of people are going. And
the layoff scene is nothing new. A lot of studios have simply said, during COVID, the emphasis was on games and getting work done, so they had to hire a lot more people and contractors. So yeah, a lot of studios are laying off. It's par for the course. It sucks. It sucks for the people that are getting laid off, but it depends on, I guess, your viability to the company, what positions that you're in. They don't just lay off everybody. They lay off obviously certain departments and different things like that. So it still sucks, but it's the environment we live in, and unfortunately, too, some projects are based on their ability to deliver, or and if they don't hit certain targets and milestones and stuff like that, then companies can't justify spending the extra cash. And people got budgets, man. That's how the world works.
Yeah, I work for a company that cares very much about its employees and does not want to do layoffs. And the entire time in the 15 years or so it's been a business, they've had one layoff round, and they try very, very hard to not do layoffs. But when they look at those financials, sometimes you got no choice. You got no choice. But hopefully, this is more like that. Of course, they're a private company, not a public entity, so they're not trying to impress any stakeholders. But yeah, it's layoffs are a part of life, unfortunately. The tech world has been riddled with layoffs since it came into existence.
Yeah.
So I don't think Xbox Microsoft is innocent in this. I think the Xbox as a whole let 1,000 people go not too long ago.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, so it's it just is what it is, and you just got to be when the positions open back up. They might not need your position at that time, but maybe someone else does.
Hey, not for nothing, but I know they lay off a lot of people, but once they got Activision, they gain it back.
Activision is so big. That Call of Duty machine is so big. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Bobby Kotick has been profitable with his 7,000 employees so far. We'll see if he can keep it up
until the end of the year.
Yeah. Until the end of the year. First layoff coming in, Bobby Kotick. Thank God. So,
that's all right. He's got enough money. He can literally make a bed out of this stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, he's been rich forever.
Well, he just got stupider rich right now.
Yeah. Activision too.
Hey, so I didn't have him backwards. Fun speculation is had me messed up here. Yeah. Shinji is Tango and Hideki is Platinum. That's right. Hideki did block everybody. That's right. That's right. Let's see. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And so yeah, Pete Hines retiring. Connie Booth retiring. Lots of other people retiring. So greatest year in gaming, greatest year in retirements. The companies we knew growing up, they're getting to that retirement age. Of course, I'm not at the retirement age because I was still a young teenager when these guys were cranking out games. But the next generation, it's time for us to start making our generation to start charging forward. We'll see what kind of great games our generation makes when they're at the head of the helm. I'm very excited about that. That's the good thing about retirements is it opens up opportunities for younger talent. So even though, it sucks that Pete Hines is leaving, it sucks that Connie Booth is leaving, it sucks that Shinji and Hideki are leaving, it opens up opportunity. And that's always good for everybody, right?
I hope so.
I hope so. I hope it's good for everybody.
Some of them, they don't know how to manage a company like that, and then goes down the drain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you either rise to the challenge or you sink. I mean, that's all I'm going to say.
That's right. Yeah.
And shout out to Scrub Nurse. Thank you so much for joining us.
Scrub,
you are the real MVP. We appreciate you. All right. We got Deadpool. He actually ended up getting in an ability. He actually met Pete Hines, so he sent us a nice little video of him and Pete Hines. Let's check it out.
Oh boy.
Hi, this is Dreadpool. I'm here with Pete Hines. What do you got to say about retiring after 24 years? Yes, I'm speechless too.
So there you go. Speechless. Hey, he tried. Shout out to Dreadpool reporting from the field.
Man, poor old Pete's looking a little worse for wear there.
I was about to say, he looked kind of pale.
He's brought his drinking game. He's already retired. He's drinking it up. Yeah. So shout out. Anybody else got anything to say on Pete Hines' retirement or other retirements that may interest you?
Enjoy your retirement.
There you go. Enjoy your retirement, Petey. So
He's
let's.
like, I got to retire. I need some time to go play Starfield.
My save file is 4 days, 10 hours on Starfield, and I have not finished the game yet.
Mm.
Like I am just, like I am. I'm trying to get all the powers, trying to find all the temples. It says 5 temples left, but the eye hasn't found them yet. So I'm trying to find them where they are. So I'm running to every planet and scanning them, seeing if I can find an anomaly.
Mhm.
And in that process, I get like this distress signal, and suddenly the side quest of like, oh, the spacers are trying to take over an entire system. So it like I ended up having to fight on like 3 different planets, spacers in space, spacers on ground, all this stuff. It was so awesome, and it was like a war between the spacers, the Free Star Collective, and the United Colonies. All of us came together to be against the spacers. It was pretty cool to just randomly run into that, and that's the charm of Bethesda games, I guess. So yeah, it was very cool that happened. What were we talking about here a minute? Oh yeah, Starfield. Yeah, so Starfield. So Starfield launched in September. It tops MPD. It is the 7th best selling game of the year so far.
Mm-hmm.
So Starfield making them numbers, even though it launched on Game Pass. Is this something that they should be happy about? It only launched on Xbox and PC and cloud. What do you think, Doof?
Well, I think that's great. I mean, obviously, it's one of the most anticipated games of the past generation. I even went out and bought a physical copy myself. Believe that. So yeah. So not only have I had a chance to play it through Game Pass because I downloaded it first there and then bought the copy just because I wanted to have have that luxury of having a beer coaster if all else fails. But yeah, it's good to have a copy of the game. Like I said, I've been definitely enjoying Starfield, and don't let anything I've said kind of make you feel otherwise, because I do like Starfield. And I do like Bethesda games. They're not like they're not like the be all and end all for me, but I totally understand why some people get totally enthralled. They're massive worlds. They have a lot of branching paths, and and I really am enjoying a lot of things about Starfield. There's no question about it. But I mean, for the sales wise, man, like it's just awesome. I mean, it's good for Xbox, it's good for Starfield, it's good for Bethesda, it's good for Game Pass. It's kind of what they hoped and what they needed. What the critical success or a little more. I shouldn't say because that's the thing, right? We make it sound like even games that get 8 are like failures, and that's anything but the truth. Even if it comes across and gets a Metacritic of 8, that's still a fantastic score. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You got to be proud of that. You know what I mean? But obviously, we know how this story goes, and I've said it time and time again. It doesn't matter what a lot of Xbox studios do; the reviewers seem to like to find reasons to take points off the Xbox scores and find a billion reasons to add points on the PlayStation scores. But that's just I think the business that we live in, and I think as long as that they're satisfied with the product, they feel that they did what they did, and then it's up to the hands of the gamers to decide whether it's been a success. And Axel, in your personal point of view, from what you just told me, I would say it's been a massive success, because anybody that spends 4 or 5 days into a universe still hasn't gotten through the whole thing and is enjoying it every step of the way. That's the sign of a quality game that puts its hooks into you, and it has done for many millions of players so far. So congratulations on the success. Great news for Xbox. And looking forward to, now that this one is out of the way, that's the good thing now that it's in the rearview mirror. That was sort of one of the last games of the old regime. Now we can move forward and see what sort of the new outlook of Bethesda from an executive standpoint and from games moving forward have for the Xbox platform. It's exciting times ahead, and let's just hope it doesn't take another like 10 years to make a game kind of deal. And there's a great graph up on the screen.
Yeah, no. I think it's going to take forever. The next game out is Elder Scrolls 6, so we'll see how well that does. But Starfield was hyped since people knew about it. So yeah, it's going to take time. But yeah, Starfield is a great successful game for Xbox and Game Pass as well. So, of course, the only sales data we really have is from Europe, as they require game data, sales data to be released by realtors. In the US, it's a little different. So we're running off of European data. So if it did well in Europe, it did well in the US, right? And so Europe, gaming sales data, top 10 digital plus physical week ending September 10th. Starfield ended up being number 1. So that's great. Other great games are on here. I mean, look at that. Titanfall 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, a lot of games. And overall, it is the 5th best-selling game and week 1 sales so far in Europe overall, right behind all these fantastic games here. So yeah, the Starfield is killing it in the sales. It turned out to be this massive success. Now remember, Phil Spencer said there's not a world that exists where people are going to suddenly decide to buy Xbox because they lost the most important generation they could have lost, which was the one generation, last generation, because that's when they bought their digital libraries, when they invested into their digital libraries. Is he wrong on this, Terry? Do great games create great customers? And will people switch for the games like Starfield?
I mean,
and I'm asking you because you're a Starfield critic, so
I am a Starfield critic. But I already had the system that was on. I didn't have to buy the damn game. So but I mean, there are people. I mean, I have seen plenty of people who didn't own an Xbox go and get one so they could try out Starfield. So I mean, it does work. People do buy consoles for specific games. I've never been one of those people personally. I need a lot of games that are going to appeal to me to purchase a console. I don't base it off of one because you never know what could happen. That game could not meet your expectations. So I don't know how great games can make great customers. I guess it depends on what they mean by great customers. I guess maybe
customers that spend money. That's what makes them great.
I mean, all customers will spend money, otherwise they're not a customer.
We're talking about the whales. We need some whales on Xbox.
Even if they've only bought one game in their entire lifetime, they're still a customer. So I don't know. I guess it depends. If they mean more on like customer loyalty, then I would say yes, because if you have that portfolio of those exclusive games that someone loves, then they're going to stay loyal to that platform and keep just for that kind of stuff. So you will have that brand loyalty for that kind of thing. It's just it's hard for me to speak on it because I'm not a first party fan. Almost everything I enjoy is third party. Mm-hmm. I tend to hate first party games in general. Doesn't matter who makes them. I always find them to be a little overhyped, and not as big as people crack them out to be. It's mostly just console war nonsense that people spew to make these games larger than life, and they're not, they're just games. So I don't know. I mean, that's all I can really say on it is, yeah. I mean, if you have enough games that can draw in an audience, they will continue to invest in whatever company is providing those games. So I'll say yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. Shaddai, Starfield sales.
Are we talking about boats in here? No, they're talking about the other type of sales. No. What is showing us here in this on that title is what Microsoft was actually thinking that it was going to be really popular, removing the game from Sony, spending all that money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knew that this was something special, and we're actually seeing it right now that it was really, really special, and it is special. And I don't know. At first, I'm like, well, for me, it's the first time I played Starfield on the Bethesda. I played the other ones, like I said before, Wolfenstein, The Evil Within, and all those. But this is my first time playing actually a Bethesda game. But all that marketing, all the hype that was shown for Starfield. It is actually true because the sales in here it actually shows.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about Todd Howard in here. Everything that he makes is pretty much gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
God, Howard.
God Howard. This is one of those under the Microsoft umbrella. He still got it,
Yeah,
and it's good to see that they're 20 something plus years working on this. Is we see now, we see their rewards, and that's only what you said physical before it launches to not launches to Game Pass, but before they start announcing, if you want to call it, player counts, which for me that metric is kind of weird though.
mm-hmm.
But it shows that it still sells. And I'm gonna go to what you said not too long ago, Axel. Yes, games like this, it does make you move consoles. And I'm one of those that I actually bought the 3+ something uh, bundle, whatever you want to call it, the special edition. So
Yeah.
yes, there is a crowd, there is a community that will spend that much money to buy those collector edition, except that jacket or whatever. I'm not gonna spend $1,000, so I'm not gonna spend that.
Yeah, that bomber jacket looks so dope. I wanted it, but man,
It looks dope, but not the
Not
amount of
$1,000
money.
dope.
Yeah, that's not dope. That word dope for that amount, it could mean something else in the bad way.
sorry. I went to go see some of my uncles this weekend, and they used some old lingo, and it just reminded me of the '90s.
Yeah, so no, it's great for Bethesda. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna drift a little bit away from the Starfield, but now remember the success of Starfield. Now let's see how it's go with Redfall because they had a patch not too long ago.
No,
Now let's see.
there's not going to be a redemption story for Redfall. I'm
I'm not.
sorry.
I'm not saying that it will, but since they have a patch and update, you don't know what could happen if Sea of Thieves made it and Grounded made it. You never know what we're gonna get from Redfall 2, and that would be a heck of a story, not only from its success, but also from coming out from the grave to probably to heaven, to the glorious day. So we don't know. We don't know what Bethesda is gonna do, but for the Starfield, great for them.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. Shout out to Jacob Novik who joins us. He says, "Hi, Noof has been highly missed." Absolutely, he has.
Well,
You know,
apparently
guys,
not by this one guy, Google Poll, in the chat. Apparently he doesn't miss me at all. He thinks I'm a big old
You know,
pony. I got one word for you there, buddy. Right there.
Let's not do that, Noof. I'm trying to run a very family friendly channel here.
Oh, I was just saying that, I was saying this podcast is sponsored by the letter I.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Okay. We bring in people from all. We're gonna have guests here that may not be your flavor, and that's okay, right? We all have opinions, and we all have criticisms of what we would prefer our favorite brands to do. And our favorite brands may do something that we don't approve of. They may take something. They may take a route that you don't approve of. I remember there was someone who hated that Xbox was publishing on PC instead of staying on the console. People hated that Xbox is starting to focus on mobile, stuff like that. The gaming industry shifts and changes, and sometimes you don't change with it, and you have criticisms of it, and that's okay. And or maybe you think that they missed a great opportunity because they did X instead of Y. And it's okay to say it. We all have a voice on these podcasts, and that's why we have these podcasts, is because so we can voice out what we think. So we don't always have to be this, this Xbox did this and I'm 100% on board. It's like, no, Xbox did this and it sucks. And I completely disagree with it, and here's why. And it might be an unpopular opinion. You might be the lone wolf out there, and that's okay. So not everybody's going to think the same. Not everybody's going to hold Xbox on this pedestal that they can do no wrong. And that's certainly not ever been the case with anybody here. We've all had our criticisms of Xbox here, some louder than others, because some can articulate those criticisms better than others. But most of us here, we have our opinions, and we have this podcast where we try our best to talk positively about everything, but we're also not drones. We don't work for Xbox. We are just people with a microphone giving our opinion. And, in the chat, I love the chat. I think you guys are, as always, you are all the real MVP. And your opinions can also differ from ours. And that's okay. We welcome that. But just kind of, be ready for the backlash too, because this is an interactive podcast. We will interact with what you say in the way we interact.
Look, man, I make no apologies for my actions because I'm a big boy and I know what I say and what I do. But I will say this, nothing pisses me off more than somebody in any chat that obviously is not paying attention to the things that I've said, that only picks up on my criticisms of the brand and not ever pay attention to all the good stuff that I've done, all the good stuff I've said, all the support I've given Xbox over the years. And people seem to think sometimes that us critical guys are traitors or ponies or whatever they want to say. But here's the deal. A lot of us have invested thousands of dollars in this platform, have invested hours and years of our lives to support this brand, right? I've made no mistake about it. I haven't been a super fan of some of the direction that Xbox has taken. But you know what? I have not abandoned the platform. I have not left. As a matter of fact, I even went out and subscribed to Game Pass. I've done a lot of things I even swore vehemently I would not do. So when people come on any podcast and say that I'm just this big ass pony, I'm sorry, but you must have me confused with somebody else in the community, because if you listen, I am no pony. I've got the receipts to prove, my friend, that I have got years of invested in this platform. Like I said, I've owned every console. I've owned almost every freaking first party game that Microsoft has ever published. You name it, I support this brand. So don't get my criticisms confused with the fact that, yes, I'm not always as positive as, say, the other people on this panel, or maybe perhaps on other shows. But I don't blow smoke up people's ass either, and I don't blow it up Sony's ass either. I can tell you right now that there's lots of stuff that Sony's over there doing that I am not a fan of either, like all their price hikes. The fact that where is that game that's supposed to come out from Naughty Dog, the what is
Factions.
the Factions? Well, where the heck is that? Jim Ryan's, look, I've been critical, but obviously nobody hears that point either, because I've been labeled, and this is the thing with this community, they label you one way or the other. I started this damn podcast. It's called Good Morning Xbox. Yeah, I'm a big old pony that starts a Good Morning Xbox program just to shit on Xbox. That makes absolutely zero sense. So that's all. Sorry, that's my rant for the day. Sorry that I gotta kind of get going with the chat, but it's like, man, like, bro, like, just I do things on both sides, and Doggy Dog's seen enough of my podcast to tell you that I call it as I see it. Now, are my opinions always correct? No, nobody's opinions are correct. That's why they're opinions, right? But we just our take, and the way I see one thing is not the way somebody else sees it, vice versa. But I do call it out on both sides of the fence. I just wanted to say that and make that clear. Again, that's the way it is, but people just need to listen and stop just hearing what they want to hear and then running with it and then making a label. I hate being called a pony more than anybody, because God knows, if I was a pony, I would not be investing at all in the Xbox ecosystem. I would have been shitting on nonstop. I'd have been coming up all those clickbait titles you see all the other podcasters doing. I don't do that shit. Never have, never will. That's not how I roll. I'll take my 40 viewers on my podcast any day than 1,000 echo chamber idiots that are just over there blowing smoke up each other's assholes all the time. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I see it. And that's the end of my rant. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And Noof does have a point. Good Morning Xbox is Noof's podcast that, he gracefully allowed me to take over when he was done with it. So, again, thank you so much for that, Noof.
And you're doing a fantastic job, by the way.
Yeah. So, yeah, and, Noof has his opinions, mostly because he's old and he likes it in a certain way. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't like Xbox. He still loves his Gears of War. He still loves his Halos. I mean, he was just talking about how awesome Halo was. Listen to that.
Right?
Yeah. All right, let's move the show along. But still on Starfield, though. So Starfield did great sales, but not only did it do great sales, it did great in Game Pass. And Noof, is Starfield the reason you subscribe to Game Pass?
Absolutely not. But I will say that, when it comes to Game Pass, like, it's just, what can you say? In this day and age with so many games coming out, it is the best value proposition out there. No, hands down. They're increasing the price, but even at the current price increases, Game Pass is still, like I said, you tell me where you can find better value with that many games to play, with the great new content being added constantly, and then getting, on top of that, a huge bonus of getting day and date games like Forza. Like some of these games I will eventually buy, but that's the beauty of it now, is I don't have to buy them day one. I can kind of, I can try those games and see if I really want to invest my $90 on the physical copy if I can get it. And I guess actually, that's sort of my only big gripe, is that physical isn't going away, at least not just yet. But I feel like Game Pass is making it very, very hard for me to buy games on Xbox versus the PlayStation, right? Just because it seems like the stores are dwindling their Xbox shelf down exponentially compared to the competitors. And that may be a Game Pass could be a contributor to that. I don't know the exact figures, but look, I love Game Pass. There's no question about it. But most importantly, I love the community, and playing games last night with some of my good old friends, and playing games with you guys and meeting people. I mean, that's one of the exponential bonuses of the Xbox platform that still hasn't been matched to me on PlayStation. I don't feel that their system is set up the same way. But Game Pass is just amazing. How can you not like it? If you're a gamer and you don't like game, how can you not love just having that much choice at your fingertips all the time, and big games dropping that you don't have to constantly shell out 80, 90. Up here in Canada, shit's getting really expensive. So saving, being able to buy the game that I really want, still being able to play some other games that I really want to play, but not having to shell out the money, because I'm not loaded. I'm not made of money. I can't just go out and buy 6 games a month. I mean, there's how many games between, and if you own all 3 platforms, and most of us on this panel do, you got a PlayStation, you got an Xbox, you got a Nintendo, and then all these games are dropping. Just add up in the month of September alone, how many games you think you would have plunked down for? Probably several $100.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I would have buy before Game Pass. I had a budget of 1 or 2 games a month.
Right.
And and that was back when they were $60, so that's $120 a month.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, Game Pass is definitely the great savior. But the thing with subscription service, just as easy as it is to subscribe, it is just as easy to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
It just takes one push of the button, and you are done. You are over with. On to the next big subscription, right? So, with any subscription, content is king. As some people have pointed out, we are in the content wars now, and Starfield is some of that content that dropped on Game Pass, and there's Chief Nukem right there, sort of.
Master Cheeks.
Chief Nukem. Oh no, we don't want to see Master Chief Cheeks Nuke. We definitely do not want to see Master Cheeks Nuke.
Nobody does.
But Starfield, it was some of that content that got added, and it led to more subscribers on Game Pass, which is great. Terry, content is king on Game Pass, and Starfield increased that. I love the helmet. And look at that, the shirt, the Master Chief, many different looks of Master Chief. Yeah,
that's true.
So Terry, is the content the reason that you stay subscribed to Game Pass, and is Starfield one of those premier content titles, along with Forza? Forza also released. I mean, come on.
You're hitting her on the right spot when it comes to racing.
Right.
Okay, so for me, I mean, yeah, I love Game Pass because it gives me an opportunity to, save money on some games. We factored in that as long as I get at least 4 games on Game Pass that I would have bought, that I don't have to buy each year, then it's worth it to me. And I always get more than that. Especially with indies, they're doing a good job pushing indies out. which is great because I'm seeing a lot more positive feedback from gamers about the indies that are on Game Pass, games that they probably never would even entertain the idea of even playing. So it's good because it definitely helps out. Now when it comes, Halo is not anything I look at. So I don't have Game Pass for Halo. I don't play Halo, and I had Game Pass before Starfield, and I had zero interest in Starfield. So the fact that Starfield was on Game Pass is the only reason why I even tried it. Otherwise, I never would have even bothered. So it's kind of like that thing. So Game Pass is that opportunity for people to try games that they're unsure about. So they don't have to drop $70 and then not like it. So it's a good trade for sure. So like I
definitely
I was not a fan of Starfield, and I had no hype for it at all, and I played it. I have been enjoying myself with the game. I still think it's overhyped. It's not the game of the generation by my definition of what the game of the generation would be, but it's still a good game. I still recommend people should play it, but I feel like it's definitely people are putting way too much into it than what it is. Because I think right now they're reeling off of the success that this is like the first major game that's putting Xbox in the limelight in a long time. So people are kind of just, fueled by that more so than how the game is, in my opinion. I mean, it's a good game, but it's not an amazing game. It's a good game, though. But it's not, I played for like BioWare games, for example, old BioWare. I would pit any of those games over Starfield any day. Those games got me way more invested, way more addicted. I played those several times over, and I will never get bored of those games. Starfield is going to be a one and done for me. It doesn't hold me. It doesn't hold me the same way. It's a good game, but it's not an amazing game.
That's not an amazing game. Starfield to Anthem.
So that means if you put Starfield in one area,
Anthem was an amazing game, and I will die on that hill. Okay.
if you put Assassin's Creed Mirage in one and Starfield on the other, I know you're gonna pick Assassin's Creed because of Ubisoft.
No, I do love Assassin's Creed.
See, there you go.
Mirage is a good game, but I don't think it's better than Starfield. I feel like they're both mid-tier. They're both mid-tier games.
I smell blasphemy here.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Origins, both of those games are way better than Mirage. Better than Mirage.
I think I have to agree with you on that.
Mirage is a good game, but it's not amazing for the Assassin's Creed franchise, and Starfield is a good game, but it's not the best game, for Bethesda. I mean, we were talking about earlier. I would play Wolfenstein over Starfield, but Bethesda didn't technically make that game. That's probably why it's better. But
fire takes over here. Hot takes right there. Shots fired.
I
just retired. We're not holding back anymore.
Yes, it's not holding back either.
But it's just the way they it is what it is. But so for it's a great thing to have for Game Pass, because a lot of people who were I feel like there weren't that many people on the fence like me. Everybody kind of bought into the publicity early on. But if somebody who is new to the ecosystem, if they only play PC or if they only play PlayStation or even Nintendo, it gave them an avenue to where they could get Game Pass either on PC or if they wanted to pick up a Series S, if they want to just kind of dip their toes in on a cheaper side, they could still have done that. And and they could entertain the game. They pay, if they didn't like it, then at least they only had paid the subscription for Game Pass, and they can try some other games to get their worth out of it versus just buying the game and then being on a loss. So it's a good thing to have on Game Pass. And Splendiferous says she likes Skull and Bones. I do like Skull and Bones, okay? I played it. It's got great potential. Looking forward to it being finished, okay? Stop hating.
Are you sure about that? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Terry's
still-
Terry's gonna have her own ship built before that game comes out.
You know what? It'll look better than any ship you could build on Starfield.
No-
Let me tell you that.
No wonder she was playing City Skylines.
Yeah,
Trying to
that's
create
what
her
I'm
own
thinking of
ship.
Starfield. How come they had to make all the ships very unsexy looking? They all kind
That's
of
what I was saying at the jump. I said that they literally took a salvage yard of ships and they told you to take these scattered parts and put them together, and that's supposed to be your ship. And they all look like butt.
They
All of them look like butt.
They
Okay.
look like cheeks.
You know, and I've seen people on PC, you know, they've gone and they've, you know, did their best to make different things, you know, based off of like Batman and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, they do their best what they can with, you know, voxel art. But I mean,
Oh,
it still looks like butt. It still looks like butt.
But bro,
Oh my goodness. Let's take a minute to check in with the chat real quick. Dreadpool joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Dreadpool. And he says, it's good to see Nukem on this morning. Absolutely it is. My beautiful wife says, each person has an opinion. Each person is unique. Absolutely. And nobody has any less opinion than the other. But, you know, let's just try to be respectful about what we call each other. Let's see. Splendiferous, shout out to Splendiferous. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He said, I had to go offline for a while because my backlog is getting really insane. No kidding. No kidding. And he says, sweet helmet, Noof. Oh, sorry. Sweet helmet, Noofy. Let's see. The Gina joins us from the Xbox Live Party Podcast. Xbox Party Podcast, I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Jusant is the next Game Pass drop I'm excited for.
I'm with him on that one. I am really with him.
I'm not excited for Jusant.
Another blasphemy. God.
Yeah. Let's see. Anyone know? So Noof Nukem has a question. Anyone know if a friend has bought an Xbox over Starfield? I know a friend. I have a friend. He doesn't buy Xbox. He's a Steam guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't bought a game in 3 years, I think. 3 or 4 years he hasn't bought a game. And he bought Starfield, and he's already on. Last I talked to him, he was already finished with New Game Plus 3, going on New Game Plus 4.
Dang.
So he's putting in the work. So yeah, some people, Starfield is that game that some people are waiting on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. Gogo Paul says, let's see. Origin and Odyssey are awesome. So big and lots of stuff. I still play those games today. Some of the top of the open world games. I started Origins and I haven't gotten past like the intro. Like, you know how you you start in I don't know, I guess you're grave robbing or tomb robbing in Origins. I get out, I see the cutscene, and that's as far as I've ever gotten. But yeah. Let's see. Terry Butt. Looks like butt. Yeah. And I am with you, Noof. Let's get a new Conquer game out. I love that. That game. Yeah, we need a new Conquer game. We need to. I want to play some of the clips, some of the curse words. That'd be fun. So yeah. Starfield led to the biggest increase day one to the single same day subscribers on Game Pass of all time. Is Starfield that good to you?
Okay. Remember, I bought the expensive one. That was my first, like I said, my first Bethesda game. I'm talking about full Bethesda. And is it that good to me? I can't really say, because there's always a bug that prevents me either grab a gun or my guy disappears. So the only thing that you saw was his suit, or I almost got stuck in a corner of a building. So what I did was, I think I did almost 15 hours to 20 hours, but that's because I like to explore. Instead of doing the whole, primary mission and all that, I just, like I said, I just wanted it to explore, do some mining and all that. Is it that good? See, the story seems interesting. but at the same time, it felt for me somewhat similar to Mass Effect. That
they definitely, you could tell that they were inspired by Mass Effect because
yeah,
they did copy some stuff.
Yeah. When I went to usually, okay, I go to this outpost and I'm like, you know what? Let me go around the whole map and all that. I'm like, this reminds me of a planet from Mass Effect. I don't see anything other than that. I just wish you have to be a little bit more frank about the game. It does look empty. I don't care about it. Does look empty. I wish there were more to it than that, than just mining. But for the story wise, it does seems very interesting. Where is it going for? But I can't really say. I'm still waiting for more patches for the game, and then I'm gonna go back. But for me, it looks good though. It looks, it's interesting.
It is a buggy mess. I've run into so many issues playing this dang game. Like it's a mess.
You know what's funny? I was streaming it, and one of my viewers that she is from Puerto Rico, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. I'm like, you know what? It's already 5 hours, so let me restart it again. I don't mind restarting. And I restarted the whole, I erased my old file and then put the new one. And I'm like, I didn't care because it's only 5 hours. All of a sudden, everything was fine. The first wave of enemies, that's when they show you, when to grab the gun. The only thing that I saw was the hand going like this. Didn't want it to grab anything. I wanted it to melee, no melee. I'm like, what is this?
Man, you guys you must be playing the game wrong. I haven't run into... I run into like
the game is playing me wrong.
Dude, the game is so broken, and every time I play it, I get at least 1 or 2 game crashes every time.
That never happened to me.
I have no issues with Starfield either. No.
I've had so many game crashes, and I've had a lot of bugs. I've had it to where the elevators don't work. You can't use the elevator. I've had it to where you can't talk to your companions to progress a quest. And it's bad.
I only had one quest.
I got stuck once, and I couldn't get unstuck. So I had to reload an old save because I got stuck between some crates and I couldn't get out. And it's like the gap was so small, my character never should even.
That almost happened to me, and I got out.
I was furious. I couldn't get out, and the jetpack, you couldn't get out. So I'm like, so I had to backtrack, and then this is frustrating. Like I've run into a lot of problems in that.
I literally got stuck inside a spaceship as it took off to space, not mine, and before it exited the ship, it dropped me out. Like I clipped through the ship, and then it's like, oh, would you like to load the next area? No, I want to go back. So I'm falling through the sky. Like I wanted to see what would happen. I'm falling through the atmosphere, right? And my game was fine. Nothing happened.
Dude, the most recent bug I had was the last time I played last week. So my very last play session I played, it literally bugged out where it went and it merged all my ships together. Mm-hmm. So the landing platform would be open when you're on a planet, but you couldn't go on my ship because the doors were like the platform was going through the wall. So I couldn't board my own freaking ship. I couldn't fast travel onto my own freaking ship. And then when I finally got onto the dang ship, because they were all bunched together, I couldn't walk through the freaking corridors.
Hey, Axel, I send you my bug on your DM. That's the bug that I dealt with. It was bad. It was bad.
Let me see if this is.
Hey, here's my impression of a lot of the Starfield characters.
Oh my god!
Oh, I knew.
Look at this.
Somebody
Look at this.
What the?
Wow.
That was my
no
bug.
gun, no head, no body.
That was my bug.
I've had. Yep.
That's funny.
That was my
hilarious.
Horrible bug.
Come on,
I've had a lot of bugs. I've had a lot of bugs in the game.
That's what it was.
That was Earthworm Jim out there. Shadai, you ran into Earthworm Jim. Well, fantastic. So of course for me, I've been a day one Game Pass subscriber. I think Game Pass on its own merit was worth it. This is before they were even doing date games in it. because the one area where I was lacking in gaming was in indies. I just didn't, when you have a limited budget, it's like, okay, I can spend $30 on an indie, or I can save a little more and buy this AAA game. I always opted to buy the AAA games. Um, so for me, Game Pass has been a godsend on the indie front. I love the indie games that I play there, but I also, I love the first party games that now I don't have to buy. Like I'm loving the crap out of. I enjoyed Hi-Fi Rush. I would have never bought that. I enjoy Forza Motorsport. I would have never bought that. I mean, as much as I like it, it's still not one. It's still not something I would spend money on. So Game Pass keeps me subscribed on content that it drops for sure, and it's not necessarily just Xbox content. Game Pass keeps me subscribed just in content, but a lot of great indies like Metal Hellsinger. That was a cool game, right? Um, things of that nature. So shout out to Game Pass. I still think it's a great best value in gaming, and for me, as a gamer, nothing's wrong with playing more games at a great price.
Mm-hmm.
At a great price. So that I stay subscribed because to me it's worth it. And I've already said to someone why I would subscribe to PlayStation Plus. Without first party there, I'm not subscribing. Not at the cost they're at. I also look, if you know me, I love my Nintendo. I have Nintendo Switch Online, but not Nintendo Switch Online Plus Extra or whatever.
Yeah.
The plus.
Yeah, because it's not worth the Plus Extra to me, even though it's not that expensive. Because I have all those old games, and I still have all my old consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have my Quest. Quest I think has Quest Plus, where it's basically the 2 free games a month. And that's not enough for me to subscribe. You got to give me a choice of games now. We're beyond the 2 random games point. So every game service, again, is still trying to get you to subscribe, except for Steam. Steam is screw you. Here's Steam sales. They're all trying to get you to subscribe. And the content wars are on. And I definitely believe that Xbox has the best deal as far as content is concerned in the subscription services. So yeah, Game Pass, all about it. I'm all in. But let's move off the Game Pass, and this is going to touch a little bit on what Noof is talking about. And shout out to Ryan McCaffrey from IGN. I know some people may not like him, and I have my own opinion on him as well. But he put up an interesting tweet that I would like to talk about here. Let me bring it up. He says, Phil Spencer is all in on letting all of his studios revive old Activision, Rare, and Xbox IPs, eh? Okay, here's a partial wish list, and he lists some games that he wants. And, of course, there's a story. But I wanted to talk about this, about Phil Spencer talking about any studio working on any IPs. And, of course, Noof has already said one of his IPs, which is Conquer. But who would make it, Noof? Or who cares who would make it as long as you want it? What are your IPs that you would bring back, Noof?
I mean, there's so many. And obviously fans have been clamoring for another Banjo-Kazooie as well, So, I mean, we've seen a lot of IPs resurge over the years. There's no question. So, a lot of them have been touched one way or another, seeing like Metal Gear Solid get a remake and stuff like that. But I'm really talking about bringing back an IP, like bringing an old IP, not just make a remake, but bring it back fresh and new. So I think, we've got plenty of, what you call PG rated characters, plenty of kids games out there, whether it's a Sonic, the Marios, the Crash Bandicoots, etc. But we have seen a big dip, is that when it comes to platformers over the years. I think most of the best platformers right now are being made by indie developers. They seem to be making a ton of them, a lot more so than, say, the big companies. And I think there's a big market for it, especially now that you're in Game Pass, and a large portion of your Game Pass subscribers are a younger market that are looking for, obviously, great value and fun, fantastic, family-friendly games to play. Now, Conquer might not fit that mold, but I think that's the point. Conquer fits that mold for the older school crowd that want a character that, yeah, he's cute and cuddly looking, but, he'll flip the bird and drink a beer and go a little AWOL. And I think they could take that to the next level. It's sad he never did get an official sequel. And it was pretty amazing at the time when you think about it, that Rare was owned by Nintendo before that happened. And that Rare even went off the deep end with that. Like in today's society, especially with Nintendo, like that almost seems unfathomable to me that they allowed that game to push through. And the original N64 cartridge had some pretty explicit stuff in there, like, and for the time, it might be lame news by today's standards, but Conquer was just an amazing game that had great, memorable characters. I mean, how can you not like a game where you're fighting a big old pile of poop? The big mighty
That
poo.
sings while you find
And he
it.
sings, and you're throwing toilet paper down his throat and stuff like that. And all the sexual innuendo that was thrown into the game too was hilarious. On top of a game that just played great. And obviously, if you want the definitive version of Conquer, though, go play the Conquer Live and Reload It, which is an amazing game. It's backwards compatible. I have a copy of it, and it's just dynamite. I love how they played on the movies and stuff. So yeah, I would bring something like that back. Banjo-Kazooie is an obvious one as well. I think there's a lot of love for that character. Maybe give them some real voices outside of the. I mean, that might be the cute part of it now, but I mean, we're no longer in the Nintendo era where we need beep bop boops for the talking characters. So yeah, that sort of stuff. So those are a couple. I mean, racing games, I would love to see PGR come back, but the problem with that is, Force is such a big franchise and they kind of overtread each other. Bizarre Creations was the ones behind the original PGR games, and they were phenomenal. I love those games. There was something about that brand and that game. PGR 4 is still one of my top, 3 probably racing games of all time. So I'd love to see some of that stuff come back. Yeah, I mean, Phil said many times too, there was games like he mentioned like Mech Assault one time, and I think he also talked about Crimson Skies even. That was one of his big favorites from the early days of Xbox. The question is, I mean, I guess Crimson Skies doesn't really apply to anybody in general. It's not like an iconic game per se. A lot of us old school Xbox fans remember it and had a blast with it, but it doesn't, if you brought it out to a new audience, would you even know what the heck that was? Now, if you make a great game, at the end of the day, you hope a great game is going to sell. And that's always the double-edged sword, right? Is nostalgia, people buy the games because that's what we remember, and then it's trying to make that game appeal to a newer audience, and that's the kicker, right? And that's where something like Mario and Sonic have transcended because they've been around so long that it doesn't matter whether you're an old school person that buys them more because you've always played every Mario and Sonic game, or you're a new kid coming into the fold that maybe weren't there for the original games, that you watched the movies, you watched the TV shows and read comics, and you're kind of into that media side. So those franchises have that going for them, is that they have a lot of other media that drives sales and factors where some of these other franchises don't. It's like, and that's the thing about being a PG. And as I said, man, a kart racing game, like, there is money on the table. There's a license to print money for Xbox if they make a good kart racer. Okay, like, it has to be great, and they don't even have to make sequels. They just make one kart racing game. You put in like a dozen tracks to start. You put in all of Microsoft's iconic characters, and then all you got to do on Game Pass is just keep adding content. So a live service game that just constantly gets updated and refreshed, and people have new much in the same way that Super Mario Kart is constantly adding content to that game since they finally had the online. That was unheard of back in the day with Nintendo. So they finally got to the times a little bit with adding more content to an already classic game, and it's done them pretty well. I mean, it's probably one of the only flagship titles on the Nintendo Switch that gets regular traffic and play all the time. I mean, that wasn't Splatoon, but I mean, how many people do you hear ever talking about, if they're playing anything online on a Nintendo, you ever hear any other games outside of those two, basically? Or maybe Minecraft or something? Smash Bros, Splatoon, Mario Kart. Outside of that, it's next to nothing. And that's something to
CTR. You can definitely start adding some Xbox characters to CTR.
Absolutely. Or you could take the Crash Team Racing. Absolutely, you could take that franchise and start adding Xbox because it's already built, and then you could just start adding characters. It doesn't really matter. Either which way, they got a foundation to build on, and like I said, it's a license to print money and get Game Pass subscribers not only hooked in for the new ones, but to get more all the time. So get with it, Xbox. You've heard the fans, and sometimes you got to copy Nintendo's playbook a little bit, to be successful. They know what they're doing as well. They know their audience, and part of that audience is playing Xbox as well. So
could you imagine a kart racer where, like, instead of the blue mushroom, it's like the Hammer of Dawn?
Right?
Smashing the first place guy.
Or yeah, well, I guess it would take the PG out, but you get the chain. I guess with the chainsaw, you could take he could haul a lancer out on the side and then cut people's tires.
Oh, like straight attacks, like road
Yeah,
rash style.
you can't take anybody's heads off because that would ruin the whole PG side of G. But yeah, he takes the chainsaw lancer out, and when you get up close and that's your special power, you saw the wheels off somebody's car.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I can just see them making these power ups that are unique to each franchise that they have.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think Xbox needs to get on a kart racer, but it has to be unique enough with enough unique powers to and be fun. That's the most important part. That's why Mario Kart is what it is. It's fun and it ruins friendships. At the same time, it's unique. So yeah, Terry, what games would you want Xbox to bring back? What IPs? What dead IPs should they work on?
I don't really know.
Anything that is racing does not matter.
No. I mean, I guess it would be nice if they could, no. I don't know, because like I kind of want to move forward. I know gamers kind of have that thing where they always want to be nostalgic for stuff, but then when certain things come back, they get excited, they play it for a week, and then they move on to the new stuff because the nostalgic stuff doesn't hold them. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where our eyes are bigger than, or whatever, however the phrase goes. But like, I don't know. I feel like games that we enjoyed when we were young, we may not necessarily enjoy now as we're older, because we've outgrown them. So I don't know. I really don't know what to bring back because
Nice.
everything has changed now. Even like Conquer, like the way that people are now with political correctness and sensitivity, I feel like it would be really hard to get that game to succeed the way it should without people being the way people are today. So it's it's just hard. Times have changed a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't really know, because like the big games that I played as a kid are still out today. I still have Need for Speed. I still have Tomb Raider. So like I really don't really need to scratch an itch. Like Ace Combat I played as a kid, that's still around. So like I guess the only thing I would want back it would be NFL Game Day, but that won't happen because stupid Madden. I hate Madden with a passion.
You gotta love Madden.
Everything. Stupid Madden. Get rid of Madden and bring back Game Day, and then maybe then we can talk.
Or NFL Blitz.
Blitz too. Like I don't play NFL games anymore. Ever since Madden took over, like I completely lost interest in NFL games. They ruined it. So that's the only thing. But that has nothing to do with Xbox. So I don't know. Like I really can't think of anything. I know like Activision, they have some Star Trek games that they did that I would love to see come back. But again, that's very niche, and the majority of people aren't going to be calling for that. So there isn't really anything for me to really call back that I can think of right now. I'm sure if I dug deep and looked through the library of some of these companies, maybe I could find something, but I don't know. I feel like it's better to just kind of look forward.
Well, there you go. Just look forward. Terry has no nostalgia.
I have nostalgia. But look, even the Ninja Turtles. Okay, we recently had the brand new Ninja Turtle beat 'em up game, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the old ones as a kid. Like I've outgrown it.
I don't know. It feels like the old one for some reason. For me, it was.
I've outgrown those games. Like it didn't. Like I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan, but I didn't get the same enjoyment playing the new beat 'em up that I did.
Now I know what cool cat Terry wants.
I think it's because you weren't losing quarters.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
She just needs to go back to the bar, play those arcade bars. I know. I saw your interview with Web Dave.
Yeah.
She wanted it to go back again to those things and play that NASCAR cruising.
It's just even beat 'em ups as a whole. I don't play beat 'em ups at all anymore. I've outgrown them. I don't enjoy beat 'em ups anymore like I did as a kid.
Street Rage 4 was epic.
Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, every game out there is in the same boat these days, where I think we're in a weird scenario where that's the problem. There is so much content, be it the Game Pass or otherwise, that many of us are just struggling to find not just the money to keep up with a lot of this stuff, but find the time to keep up. Like their games are being pumped out at a ridiculous clip. I mean, I said this a while back to someone. I said, like, when I was a Genesis fan, I had a Genesis and Super Nintendo. Like, you guys could count how many releases came out within the run of a year, and you could actively almost keep track of every release that came out. Think of that. Like, in the cartridge era of games, what was their total mass library of games by the time, say, the Genesis or Super Nintendo ended? What did they have? Maybe just over 1,000 games?
Maybe 1,000. Yeah, maybe
Right?
1,000.
We get almost 1,000 a year now, probably even more. Between you take all the indies and big games, it's absolutely massive. Like, it's just off the scale. And, like, how can you keep, like, the fact that our backlogs are not even 2 or 3 games back, like most of us now, if you went into your backlog, what would you say your average list is? Like, for me, I've got several hundred games, and I bet you I've got well over 100 in the backlog. Well over.
I would say for me, I'm probably in the 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Not
probably
to
at
mention
50.
games that I've been playing. I have, like, some of the games I haven't even finished, and I like to try to complete the games that I buy most often, unless I just can't stand the game enough to get to the end of it, or it's too freaking hard. But yeah, like, this is what I'm saying, and every game's got to compete for that same audience, that same dollar. And if you got 3 consoles, if you're on all the consoles and the PC, you just exponentially tripled, like, your output, because it's amazing trying to just keep up with it all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy. And maybe that's why Terry doesn't have nostalgia, is because she has a backlog full of nostalgia right there.
Nostalgia. I have nostalgia. I just, like I said, I don't want my memories of things I've enjoyed to be ruined when they bring it back, because it's not going to be the same now as it was back then. You know what I mean?
Capcom ruin Resident Evil 2, knowing that came out?
I hate all the Resident Evil, so that doesn't matter to me. But
I love those.
I'm not a Resident Evil fan. I'm not a Capcom fan. Like, Capcom has like one
as an
franchise
example, they didn't
like,
ruin it. It actually makes sales. Remember,
I mean, it sells well, but people get into that horror thing. So even if it was an awful game, which the first one was super awful, still, people still kept buying in the Resident Evil. With the worst game ever made was the first game, when you had to shoot off the freaking camera, and like, come on.
So
come on.
The other side of the coin too with that is not only just the games, but it's the fact that multiplayer is now like a much huger component of people's time than it used to be. Like, if you go back to even say that the glory years, and we'll think back to 2007, which was revered as one of the best game years in history, right? There was only 2 or 3 major heavy hitters in console in terms of like multiplayer shooters. And I think at the time you had the first Modern Warfare, there was like Gears. I think we had Halo 3. Like, if I went down through my friends list, like, there was only like 3 or 4 games, and then everybody would be playing like the single player story based kind of stuff on their Xboxes. It was like the list was narrow. And now on any given day, I can see 50 or 60 people online, and almost everybody, because Xbox has that, was it like 50 players online, 18 playing whatever?
Yeah.
And like, you look at them, it's like there's 3 people on this game, and 4 people on this, and 3 people here, and 1 person here. The whole list is segregated, and I'm like, damn, like, nobody's hardly ever playing the same thing. It's crazy.
It is. There's so much variety nowadays, and thank God for that, because we're not all the same gamer. But at the same time, it kind of makes that like Nuke says, you got to organize that multiplayer. You got to make a play date. If you want people to play with you these days, you can't just jump in like you used to, like see someone playing Halo 3 and literally just join their team. Right? We used to do that. Yeah. Let's check in with the chat real quick. The Gina says, I'd love a Blast Corps remake. That would be awesome. Blast Corps was awesome. Gogo Pole says Obsidian did South Park. They could do a good Conquer, I think. Yes. Yeah, and they did it great. Agreed. Yeah. Jason Max joins us, and he says, just remember, Xbox is #1. Absolutely, Jason Max. Thank you so much for joining us. You are
never changed.
And remember, Ubisoft also did South Park. They did the first one.
Oh, jeez.
RWK88 joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, RWK88. You are the real MVP. He says, good morning, y'all. Good morning. Let's see. He's talking about a dream game here. My dream game would be a tactics game that uses all the characters that Xbox now owns. Be able to play online like XCOM 2, have a COG versus UNSC. Coalition of governments versus UNSC fights, or Doom versus Call of Duty, etc. Okay, that would be something. That would be something. Let's see. What else we got? Red Monkey Butt joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Red Monkey Butt. You are the real MVP. Says, I disagree. Many kart racers have tried to copy Mario Kart and failed. I don't see it working for Microsoft either. And that's just it, man. It is
Yeah.
when you're trying to challenge the incumbent, that incumbent is not going to roll over. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
Mario Kart is on top, and everybody else is trying to catch up.
You
But
also
it's
don't
good
want to.
that these teams try to catch up because all it does is push the envelope of kart racers up. So we definitely need a kart racer to challenge, because all we're going to get is better games at the end
You
of
also
it.
don't want to. You also don't want to compete against your main one. You know, you don't see Nintendo making other kart racers. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you don't see Nintendo making a Forza or a Gran Turismo. They went Mario Kart, you know. So
yeah, but that again, that's their. I guess that's their niche with the Mario Kart. But I'm saying, like, with kart racers, you don't see them making other kart racers. So like, it wouldn't make sense for Xbox to make something that's going to compete against CTR. They finally brought that back. Now what they need to do is just grow it. You know.
yeah, absolutely. And RWK says he wants NFL Blitz. Yes,
That game was so
NFL
good.
Blitz.
That game was so good.
And NHL Hits, that's another great one. That
Yeah,
game was
NBA
amazing.
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah, I mean, it's street, like home court. Like, oh my gosh, home court. But yeah, we're not gonna see that stuff ever again. You know, it's gone
And again,
forever.
that's the sad part, because that was great, because it was driving competition and people were getting creative with sports games and they were finding different mechanics, and now they've just kind of grown stagnant, and EA kind of owns the
All
market for the
straight
most
up
part.
simulation now.
And
no more arcade sports games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, we definitely need more of that.
Shadai, which games do you want to see get revived? Which IPs?
All of them. No, sorry.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Make them suffer. No.
Now, there were a lot of terrible games from when we were kids, so you gotta be careful.
Hey, right now we have better technology, so those ones that gave you headaches, it could be fixed at this time. No, actually, I have three, and that one is three. The first one, that will be, my goodness, you guys mentioned like Crimson Skies, and the
That
reason
is a
why
sequel.
I'd rather have both, because I'll tell you why. Okay, we do have Flight Sim, we do have Ace Combat, but that's like an area for aviation that they never challenge anybody. It's just here you go, and whatever the case may be.
Yeah, they did. We got Snoopy. Okay.
I beat that one. I give you that one. I do have that. But the thing is that the style of Crimson Sky is way different than Ace Combat, that is more modern, and you already know how it is. Microsoft Simulator. That one is totally different. That's something that could be done. The second one will be, a lot of people keep saying Banjo-Kazooie or Conquer and all that, but they never mentioned Brute Force. I'm upset.
Brute Force.
Brute Force.
Brute Force was huge on the OG Xbox.
It's in the OG Xbox. And that one can be made either Machine Games or their Coalition. That game is really, really special, and it was supposed to be some type of demo when they announced Halo 3 during back in the days. That game could be made really, really special. And the third one will be, yes, it is another platformer, but I think it's a different type of platformer. Actually, I do have another one too, but Voodoo Vince.
Oh yeah, they did a remake of Voodoo Vince not too long ago.
Yeah, but I don't want the remake. I beat the game, but it's just that sometimes there are games, certain games that deserve to be treated like that. Not all of them, but some of them. And for my last one is Phantom Dust. It was unique.
Phantom Dust.
Yeah.
So Phantom Dust, it was like a card somewhat, but I know it was really, really unique. I think it's still free on the Xbox, because I know when people asked for that, they just gave us pretty much the original one. But at least those four, I just want them to be made the correct way. I know you said what studio could be made. If it's Voodoo Vince, whoever makes, I know when it comes to Banjo, they want Toys for Bad to make it. I'm with you, Noof. When it comes to Conquer, Obsidian can be made. If it's Voodoo Vince, whoever can be make that, I really. Oh, you know what? It could be like this: Voodoo Vince can be made by Obsidian, but not like because what comes to mind is Psychonauts, because it has some similarity between those two.
Psychonauts was made by
Double Fine, sorry, Double Fine.
Double Fine, yes.
Yeah,
I was
or
like, it's a
Double
two.
Fine.
It's a two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Double Fine can be made Voodoo Vince. So it could be like that. But that's what I think they should bring back. Treat it correctly how it's supposed to be. The nostalgia, what Terry said, I understand that part. But nowadays with the lightings and all that, sometimes can be sold because it looks really, really nice. And the formula is still there. But I think that's what I believe they should make.
All right.
I think it just gets us to where we run into the hypocrisy. We literally sit here and we criticize, Sony for all they do is remaster, and at the same time, you guys are crying that you want them to bring back stuff.
But okay, I understand that part. It's different when you do it very constantly compared to something that you could do it probably here and there in spots. It's very different. The Sony part is because they don't have anything else to show. Right now, Microsoft have a whole bunch of studio, almost to 40. So they could do spots here and there and use it as a plug-in to whatever, let's say, Bethesda is making something else. Yo, that box looks awesome. Not for nothing. Wait,
Still one of the best games I played in the last 5 years for sure. Love it. Absolutely love it. Very memorable game. Kudos to Double Fine, man. Very talented studio. If you guys have never played this damn game, do yourself a favor and go play this shit because it's nuts. It's awesome. It was way better than the first game in almost every aspect. They did a great job. And yes, I managed to score a physical copy of it. Don't know. I had to buy
but it
from
looked
online.
nice. It looks awesome.
Well, it's got one of those covers. What do you call those with the little
like
plastic
reflector things?
protectors? Yeah,
those reflector things on the
Yeah,
front.
I kind of figured because I was looking at his eyes.
Kind of stuck on here. I don't know what the hell. But the regular case is inside. Yeah, great game.
All right. Well, there you go. Psychonauts revived. Great choices, Shaddai. Great list. I'm going to make mine quick. I would love a Banjo. Obviously, we already talked about Banjo. Conquer would be good for me, too. Guitar Hero. You know my Guitar Hero. I love my Guitar Hero. I would love
DJ Hero
to see Guitar Hero make a comeback. But the one game I really, really want, outside of maybe some of those RPGs like Blue Dragon and stuff, would be the mech games to come back. Now, this is an old game. A lot of people don't know it. It's called Mech Commander, where it's like an RTS with mechs. And it's so cool because you can make your mechs jump. They each had different abilities. You had anti-air mechs, you had laser mechs, you had rocket mechs, and each one had a specialty of where they could do it. The terrain was important, as it is in the real mech. So a lot of people want Mech Assault, but if you played Mech Warrior 5, it's basically Mech Assault.
That
not
looked like
arcadey,
defense, that defense game thing.
But Mech Commander to me was unique enough. I love if you know me, you know I love RTSs. You know I love tactics games. All those games that are very niche. For some reason, I love them. So for me, I would love for Microsoft to get their show together and get some mech games out, man. Other than Mech Warrior, use that mech license. You have it. Use it. So yeah, I wouldn't want to see a remake of Mech Commander. I want to see the next game. And now that they have the studio that did StarCraft, they could also do Halo Wars. They could also do Mech. They have an RTS studio now, other than World's Edge. So now they have two studios that they can make these games on. So I would really love to see these games come out from a world-class studio such as those people that would get that specialize in nothing but RTS. That are basically the kings of RTS in StarCraft. So yeah, great choices by everybody. everybody did a fantastic job on that topic. Terry, do you want to do your indie spotlight real quick?
Sure.
All right. Take it away, Terry. Wait, hold on. Don't take it away just yet. Don't take it away just yet. Here we go.
All right, everybody. So I'm back with another indie spotlight. Now today is going to be a little different. I picked a game that I played a few years back that I really enjoyed playing. I had a lot of fun with it, but it's PC only. So those of you that are not PC, I'm sorry.
PC only.
PC only.
Screw it.
Most indie games are PC only, but you know.
You leave her.
All right. So let me show you Insurmountable.
I am a mountain. I am vast. I am ancient and ever-changing.
RNG.
You idolize me, want to stand on my peaks. Well, you better prepare yourself well then. We will see if it does you any good. What are you hoping to find here? Adventure? Knowledge? Or yourself, maybe? You are so small, so weak. You will find only suffering and death. All of you.
This is like Mount Everest right there.
Am insurmountable.
Okay, so don't let the trailer mislead you. Now, this is one of the most challenging and addicting games I've played in a long time. So it's, trust me, if you want a game that's going to, you know, really, if you're into like tactics games and, you know, things with like strategy, this is the game for you because everything is pretty much RNG. So you might think this is going to be an easy climb up the mountain and then something's going to happen and it's just over unless you can, you know, come up with a good enough strategy to get through it. It's a fantastic game. You have 3 different characters that you can use to get through it. And, you know, I remember I was flying through it because, you know, each level was easy when you start. And then as you play the game, it keeps getting harder and harder and harder. The last mission I played, I had nothing but bad RNG. Like I was starving to death, I was freezing to death, I had no oxygen. It was just the worst, worst thing. I died. And the game is permadeath. So
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh man. So yeah, trust me, this game is one of those games where looking at a trailer like this, it's gonna look like this is a boring game. But trust me, this is one of those games where you play it and you get addicted, and it's going to give you a run for your money as you get further in and it gets more challenging. I do highly recommend this game. It's on Steam for $25. I know they had it on Epic for free. I don't know if it still is free on Epic because I don't ever use Epic Games. But if you use Epic Games, you check it out. You might still be able to get it for free, maybe. I don't know, but check that out. But I do recommend it. It hits you different. If you're if you like strategy games, this is a good one.
Oh my God, I hate roguelike so much. That game looks cool until it said roguelike, and I'm like, ah.
No, just say when she said PC only. That
Think of it It's more like a single player board game. Okay, and you have to get from point A to point B, and you keep rolling the dice, and things happen to you, and how you're gonna overcome it. That's this game, and it's like I'm
I
so
might have
close.
to check out some gameplay.
I'm
Did
so
you stream
close
this
to
during?
making it. I'm so close to making it. Oh, my character is exhausted. I have to sleep for the night, but I don't have any, proper equipment. So I'm gonna freeze to death at nighttime because I don't have a tent or I can't build a campfire. So like, it's good. Trust me, it hits different. it's good.
Different. All right. Shout out to Terry, another great indie spotlight that is enjoyed by all.
All
Logan
PC
Paul
only.
says, "Whoa, this does look cool and interesting." So you got him.
I'm detecting sarcasm on that one, though, to be honest.
No. Logan Paul is totally interested. He says, "Procedurally generated mounted sold me." There you go.
I don't know. We'll see. I do
Fastback
recommend it. I
joins
really
us.
do recommend it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Fastback. You are the real MVP. And as always, Shaddai stirring the fires here. All right, guys. So the Activision Blizzard deal closed, and Xbox has now restructured itself. Let me see if I can get this going as quickly as possible. Xbox has restructured, and so Phil Spencer is the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. But a certain somebody that we all love and have always said that we believe is being groomed to replace Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond was promoted to be head of Xbox. And Matt Booty is now president of Game Content and Studios. So he takes over Game Pass, which used to be under Sarah Bond. Sarah Bond takes over Xbox, which used to be under Phil Spencer. Direct responsibility. Bobby Kotick's still there. Of course, we all hate him. And, lots of other people, chief operating officer, chief marketing officer, chief consumer sales officer, chief of staff, vice presidents, general managers, stuff like that. So we got lots of movement over on the Xbox restructuring thanks to the Activision Blizzard deal. Activision Blizzard King deal closing. Matt Booty is now in charge of Game Pass, and Sarah Bond has been doing a great job of getting content for that. And Sarah is now in charge of Xbox, including the hardware. So the next console will be Sarah Bond's baby, and this will be the first console in charge of by a woman. So that's great. Will it be slicker? Will it be more designer friendly than power? Because guys were more about like raw power. Screw that design. Looks like as long as it plays.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. Do you think Sarah Bond will live up to the legacy of power? Because that's one of the big attraction points of Xbox is the power. Noof,
Yes,
she's
sir.
in charge of hardware now. The next console is hers, launching in 2028, probably.
Mm-hmm.
4 years away. Do you think she's going to do fantastic?
I have no reason to not believe in Sarah Bond. First of all, she seems to be a very likable personality within the Xbox, both internally and externally. The fans seem to like her a lot. I mean, I know that's kind of irrelevant, but it's always nice that you have somebody that, is personable, can communicate with the fans, and just seems like she cares about the brand and what she's doing. They have still got a long road ahead. There's a lot of challenges, I'm sure, that still undertaken, probably more than ever, to be honest with you, because now having this many studios and this many things underneath one banner, there's a lot to take in. But I think she's going to do a great job. I like the promotions, and I don't really know what more to say. I mean, it's one of those things where it's proof in the pudding, right? And we'll see how the next 3 to 5 years. But we're pretty glad that ABK kind of stuff is sort of shoved to the back bender now. It's kind of behind it for the most part, and that Xbox can move forward. And obviously, and I think that's why they waited to do these promotions, because they wanted to get that out of the way before they kind of restructured in house and made sure that they had all their ducks in a row, so to speak, and move forward. So I don't know if this means we'll just see a lot more of Sarah Bond sort of on the stage now, as opposed to Phil Spencer, who is kind of sort of the big face. Maybe he takes a little less of a public role. I mean, he's certainly been grilled more often than not in the last couple of years. But I think overall the promotions are good, and let's just hope that they're listening to the fans is the big thing, and I think Sarah Bond does a great job with that. And Game Pass is in a good spot right now. Like, she's obviously done her homework and did a very good job of trying to navigate content onto that platform. And I think there's a lot of developers who've certainly seen the fruits of that labor. Maybe there's some that haven't quite struck it as big as they thought, but I think that's going to be the case moving forward. And I think for the most part, a lot of the indie games are definitely going to thrive a little more, I think, through Game Pass, because if they weren't on Game Pass, a lot of people wouldn't even be playing them at all. So, maybe there's the odd one that kind of maybe does less numbers, but no, like I said, I like where those people in particular. Matt Booty, he's been kind of quiet. Like, it's a little harder to talk about him because we don't see him very often in a public role, and I rarely see him comment on things. But he's got the most challenging because he is the game content and studios overseer. So, maybe, he needs to get into some of these studios now and kind of put a little bit of pressure on, not force them to make bad games, but again, is to give them time to make a quality game. See what, like you said, right now they're sitting on a gold mine of IPs that can make instant bank for them. So they need to add those to the equation as well. So I like the promotions. Let's see what they do. The verdict's still out, but I like where we're at.
Yeah, and she's already president of Xbox. She joined Xbox in 2017.
Yeah.
So her rise to the top has been meteoric. She's launched up there like a rocket ship. So she is very well liked in the company, obviously, to be promoted above people who have probably been there 25 years, probably. So yeah, she's out there. And of course, Matt Booty now with Pete Hines retiring, Matt Booty takes over Bethesda. That is now under his umbrella. So he's in charge of Xbox Studios, ZeniMax Studios, and Game Pass. So, Matt Booty, I'm looking at you, man. If it sucks, I'm blaming you, bro.
So this is mean that Dave McCarthy is then in charge of the Game Pass stuff, since he's the chief operation officer for Microsoft Gaming?
I know that Game Pass used to be Sarah Bond because it was literally in her title. It used to say Game Pass. Something right. Game Pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Sarah Bond, she's going to still do that. I know there's something about services that's still under her name.
Yeah, maybe it was Game Pass and Services or something like that.
Data, I think it was collecting data analytics, something like that.
I know she started out. I just know she started in 2017 because that's when you first started hearing about it, right? So, yeah, we'll see. Hold on. Let me see where Sarah Bond is in the Xbox Starfield Direct Showcase because it'll say her title. Let me see if I can find her real quick. There weren't very many speeches done. Here we go. Hold on. So it says Sarah Bond, head of Xbox Creator Experience. That's where she was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, Sarah Bond has been all over the place as far as titles is concerned, and she just seems to be excelling at everything. So why not put her ahead as head of the Xbox hardware divisions, the Xbox brand? And maybe that sphere in Vegas was her idea. You never know. So yeah, Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, those are the two big changes as they get promoted to presidents. Of course, everybody's still answering to Phil Spencer, CEO, Microsoft Gaming as a whole. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to assume that sooner or later, Bobby Kotick is probably going to get out as CEO and be replaced by somebody that's going to say president of Activision ABK or something like that, right? So I'm going to assume that the CEO is going to go out because no one here is a CEO outside of these two, if you notice it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to assume that that's going to be replaced by a president once he retires. Thank God. So I hate Bobby Kotick. You guys know I hate Bobby Kotick.
But you like the games that he created in the past.
I like StarCraft.
There you go.
That's it. Diablo. That's it. And those came from Blizzard, not from Activision. So Bobby Kotick only inherited those. So yeah. Let's see. Terry, some promotions, and especially a lady finally the head of a gaming console business. What do you think?
I mean, okay. So for me, I don't care if she's a woman or not. All right. As long as she is qualified for the job and does it well, that's what matters. The fact that she's a woman shouldn't be a factor.
Mhm.
That's my stance on that. And the feminists can hate me all they want. But you know, she is well liked, like you said. You know, she has been doing great work. So I feel like she has deserved where she is in her promotion. So that goes to show. But yeah, I don't know. What the future will bring. We'll see how that goes. And even with the new console coming out, even though she'll be in charge of it, doesn't mean it's going to be like her design. She's going to have a team of engineers and a team of R&D people, kind of testing all this stuff out. So the designs are going to change, and it's going to be a team design. It won't just be like, I'm going to draw a sketch and you guys got to make this real. That's not how that works. So, so,
Make it happen. Chop, chop.
So we'll have to see how it all comes out, but yeah, I think this is definitely exciting to see what's going to change, because we don't know. We don't know how things are going to go. We're going to see, because has Sarah Bond ever done anything with hardware before? I feel like she's always been more of like a number cruncher.
I don't think she has. She did Game Pass. She did subscriptions and game content, and I think she was head of like cloud gaming for a while there too. So she's tried basically everything. I would say that she was groomed for this position.
Okay.
Because they left her, 9 months here, 9 months there, 9 months there, 9 months there, and
Okay.
now it's all coming in.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I think, like I said, she's been doing well with what she's doing, and so keep going. But yeah, the only time will tell. We don't really know what.
Yeah.
It's always possible that she could get put in a position that she isn't ready for and gets overwhelmed, and then things go south. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but it's always possible.
Yeah, I hope things go really well for her. I know that she was also at Chegg.com. Anybody remember Chegg? The where they had the answers to all the college textbooks.
No.
So yeah, Chegg.com she was big there while it was big, and so yeah, she was there. Yeah, and Matt Booty, of course, he's been with Xbox for a long, long time, so he's finally getting his due. And he's been in charge of Xbox games, and I'm gonna assume that they probably placed Matt Booty in there probably because of what happened with Redfall. That they need some. Everybody was saying that you got to let your studios do what they do, but you also need some oversight.
Yeah.
So the fact that Matt Booty is now head of game content and studios, including the ZeniMax Studios, Bethesda ZeniMax Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that that's that reaction to, you know what? Yeah, we need someone that's going to be in charge of it. Someone that's going to go take a look at that. When they're showing 60 FPS trailers, that it actually launches 60 FPS. Things of that nature. Because if you remember watching that, what was it? Kind of fun? Was it Kind of Funny? Xcast? A day or two after Redfall launched, just how livid Phil Spencer was at the state of Redfall.
Yeah, with Paris Lily. Yep. Yeah, I remember
that. He was not happy, so I'm going to assume that putting ZeniMax Bethesda, getting Pete Hines' retirement, and putting Matt Booty on there is part of that reaction, in my opinion.
But you also got to think that they need to give him a really good team, because there's no way one person can be in charge of this many studios and hundreds and hundreds of games that are in development. You know what I mean? It's too much for him to watch by himself. So
put cameras.
And if Xbox keeps acquiring more and more like studios and stuff, like that's too much stuff for one guy to be in charge of. So either they need to get another person in the same role as him to kind of divvy it up, or they need to give him a really good team to where they can, get the job done adequately and, and report to him, and he can make decisions or whatever. I guess he'll just be the delegator, but there's a lot that he's in charge of, there's no way, you know, he could be able to give everything the same amount of attention.
Yeah. You know, the my job sometimes is to give my bosses bad news that they don't want to hear.
Mm.
And, you know, I could sugarcoat it, but I'm kind of too blunt for it. I tell them the facts and only the facts. And it's so funny. My boss to me the other day was saying, you know, we were getting into it, and I was in there, and he goes, I pay Axel good money to tell me bad news every day. You know, like, you need those people that are honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my boss appreciates it because it keeps him from doing things that he would later regret, probably. Even though he doesn't want to hear it, it is my position to report the facts. So yeah, as you said, maybe he needs somebody in there to help him do that. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Freaking Shaddai and Splenda calling each other these funny names.
He started it.
Let's see, Splendor first. This is why Pete Hines left, because the new promotions at Xbox, he would have to report to Matt Booty or Sarah Bond.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter Moore, the leader of Blizzard, Mike, whatever his name is, and I think he's talking about Mike Ibarra. I really think Mike Ibarra is going to take the helm. He's worked with Xbox before, and he was very cutthroat. You know, I think a big reason why Mike Ibarra left Xbox is because they chose Phil over him. You know, and that happens. So yeah, Mike Ibarra coming back. You think you could leave, sucker? Wherever you go, you work for Xbox.
You know, but there is truth in what he said,
funny.
though, because, you know, you're used to being the guy in charge. Everyone reports to you. You don't want to be it feels like you're going backwards because now you have bosses to report to again. You know, you feel like you've been demoted, you know?
Hey guys, it's Mikey Barr here. God, I'm gonna answer Phil Spencer again. What the hell? I thought I was done with this stuff. Come on.
Yeah, that's such a great Mike Ibarra. That's so funny. Gogo Pole says she knows how to keep customers, is what I read. Yeah, that's great. And Gogo Pole also says Phil was more pissed at the media going all crazy on Redfall. I kind of think Phil has accepted that Xbox has a big hill to climb against the gaming media. I mean, that's been obvious. I don't think that Redfall revealed that. I think, you know, the media reaction was because do I think Redfall is as bad as the media said? No. But was it a great game? No. It had bugs. It under-delivered on its promises. You know, when you say 60, 60, 60 and then deliver 30, and even on your marketing on the website it says 60 and you deliver 30, yeah, it's just not good. It's not good. Let's see. Thing is, it won't matter because the amount of money that Microsoft is spending will dwarf all the criticism. You'll see content coming. It just started. Even Sony knows this. They see the numbers. You know, Sony has had to shift strategies. You know, they tried to copy Xbox with acquisitions, and recently they just announced that they were stopping acquisitions and moving along with third-party publisher deals. So they're going to stick to what works for them, which is, you know, buying exclusive content for their platform, while Xbox has grown this massive library of studios and IPs to feed their machines. So they're going two very different routes. And I think it's good that they go two different routes because, again, you know who wins? We do. We eat good when this kind of stuff happens. Mm-hmm. Right? So, yeah. Shaddai, are you still there? There you are. Yeah, Shaddai.
I'm here.
Some promotions. What do you think?
I like that booty bond.
The booty bond.
Yeah, but that's what it says right there. See, it says booty bond. So no.
Oh my goodness! Somebody get this man a girlfriend stat.
But the promotion is, you know, she deserves it. She's very likable. That she is actually doing the same thing that Phil Spencer has been doing for so many years. She's very likable. She outgoing. She knows the right word to say compared to Don Matrix. Stick with the 360 if you want all games.
Oh my God!
See, you want people that are very reachable, somebody that actually, easy to talk to and comprehend, the gaming or what customer wants. That's her job. And I'm with Noof there. Matt Booty, he's like under the basement, in the basement lag, doesn't want to, and when he talks, it's like he just want to talk, just finish, and I want to get out of here. You could tell. So how's the acquisition? Oh no, it's pretty fine. Okay, that's it. Like, come on now. Now, when you look at the list and you go down to Axel's favorite person, which is Bobby Kotick. Let's go back to what he said. He said that he's gonna be leaving at the end of the year. And if you go to Twitter, a lot of them are speculating that the next one who's gonna take Bobby's spot will be Lulu Chang.
No,
and if that happens,
Lulu Chang is great, but I think Mikey Barr is better.
Well, probably because she's very outspoken and more. There's stuff that probably a lot of people like when she talks because she
knows how to handle the media.
Yes.
Yeah, Lulu Chang Maservi is really a good PR person.
There might be something behind the scene that we don't know, but at the same time, nowadays you want diversity. Right. And if they put Lulu there, you will see pretty much majority of them is gonna be all ladies, and it's gonna be probably the first time in a company that you'll see maybe that leadership is gonna be led by females, and that's probably what they're trying to do. Probably make some type of history, and whether it is Lulu or not, that will be great for them because they're gonna get that money. We don't, but we will get the content. But please answer me this: the stuff that I read was, I think, is management and marketing. Am I correct? This change. This change.
The marketing person. Where would she go?
No, but as a whole, I think his marketing has been changed, and whatever the other one. I know.
No, what happens is I think what it is instead of having to use Xbox or Microsoft marketing, Xbox now has its own marketing division.
Okay, that's what. So let's go for that one. Where the heck is Aaron Greenberg? Is he gonna retire also? Like,
well, Aaron Greenberg has never been head of communications or anything. He's always reported to a boss.
Yeah, no, but remember, he's always been in the marketing.
Yeah, but he's always had a boss. He's never been the head.
It's the same thing as Sarah Bond. She didn't have a boss, but look at her now. Look how quickly she got up. So my question is, since Aaron Greenberg has been in the umbrella of marketing, I'm talking about marketing, he's nowhere to be found. So does that mean is he gonna retire? Is this he could be another Mikey Barra, like you guys said? What happened if he wanted something and he didn't get it, and he got it and it ended up being somebody else that is on that list or whatever the case may be? But Aaron Greenberg is not there, and he's being vocal last year promoting left and right a lot of the things.
So you're saying because everybody's getting promoted that he got passed up for promotion?
I think that's what happened. Because
conspiracy theories should die.
Because I'm like, okay, he's being vocal. He's been on the media. That's his job. You want to market all over the place. He's been in the how you call it in the events doing interviews. Have you ever seen somebody else from there other than Sarah Bond, Bobby Kotick, and all those? But the rest of them, I haven't seen them do anything to promote the gaming other than Aaron
some people are in front of the camera, some people aren't. I mean, there's a lot of invisible work that goes on to keep Xbox running.
Well, let me promote Xbox remotely because I don't want nobody to see me.
Well, when your job is to promote Xbox, not yourself, there's a difference. Aaron Greenberg might be a face, that they use, but he still always is talking about Xbox. He's just a public face that the fans like.
But
That
that's what I'm
doesn't
saying.
mean that
It's like Sarah
his
Bond.
job is
People
to
like
promote
her.
Xbox.
It's like Sarah Bond. People like her, but she got promoted. So I think Aaron Greenberg is getting withered by the
Getting withered, dude.
Whoa,
Greenberg.
whoa.
I'm thinking of a plant right now because of his last name.
Role reversal. He has to sleep his way up the ladder.
Yeah.
But that's what I. No, but not for nothing. But that's what I thought because for years
I don't
I've been
know
like,
about that, man. I don't know about that. But also, I just want to say right now that there are plenty of corporations run with women CEOs, so she would not be making any kind of history at all. It's already, there's a lot of corporations out there with female CEOs. So
Right, but it would be the first game platform holder
yes,
to have someone as the head.
yes, agreed.
Nintendo, when you think of the platform holders that have come and gone, Atari never had a lady.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's never had a lady. PlayStation's never had a lady as the head of the platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ouya had a lady.
Actually exist.
Google, when they got in, they didn't have a lady, and Luna doesn't have a lady. So Sarah Bond is the first lady console head, and this is important to us because games in general have been a male-dominated field as far as customers are concerned, right? It's mostly men who are gamers.
Yes.
And I know that the gap is closing, and that's fantastic. We definitely need more female gamers. But
it's more of a 50-50 split nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's better off like that.
It's been men.
Mm-hmm.
Just, and I'm not saying that she won't do a great job because she's a woman or anything like that. I'm really hopeful she does a fantastic job, and I think it is history making because she will be head of a platform, president of a platform, and guide the future of that platform in a field that is traditionally been male dominated.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much Microsoft is breaking barriers. That's pretty much
which is great.
Yes.
Which is great. So yeah. But let's check in with our field reporter Dreadpool, who talked with Matt Booty. Dreadpool, take it away.
Booty Bond.
Hey, this is Dreadpool. I just hopped over Matt Booty's fence, and I'm going to ask him the important question: how does it feel to get a new position on Xbox? Hey, Matt, what do you think about the new position Xbox gave you? Gotta go.
There you go. There you go. So he's out there. He's ready. He's ready to strike. Don't go. So Dreadpool jumped the fence, and Matt Booty got his defense out.
No, it matches. It always has to be behind something, so nobody knows what he's doing. It's the same thing, whatever position he got right now. Now he's gonna be behind the sheets and not saying anything.
Yeah, that's right. And Dreadpool says your field reporter is awesome. I don't know how he's able to get these interviews every week. I don't know either. Well, I mean, obviously, I know he jumped over some fences. So yeah. Let's see. Jason Max says, I see a lot of female gamers on Twitch with low cut tops. Hey, you got to give the audience what the audience wants, right? So can't really complain about what sells. But I think that's going to do it for today, guys. Noof, do you have anything else you would like to discuss?
Oh, man, all good. We covered the topics, had a good time on the show, so yeah.
All right. But before we get out of here, Noof, let the people know where they can find you.
Awesome. Well, you can find me, obviously, on my Noof Nukem channel, so I really haven't gone anywhere per se. If you haven't heard by now or haven't come out and checked out the show, I do a little podcast called The Gaming Fuse. We will have another episode tomorrow night, which I think is episode... I think it's going to be number 19, if I'm correct. So yeah, it's a pretty new podcast, pretty much in the vein of Gaming After Dark, but just with a different panel and a different time. So tomorrow night, it will be the last show in that time slot. So that is on Monday night. at 10 Eastern. That is 8 Mountain Time. And I'm pleased to announce, if you haven't heard the news already, that this young lady that is on this panel, Cool Cat Terry, will be joining the Gaming Fuse panel. But we will be moving to Tuesday nights in the following week after that. So the first week of November, we'll move to actually, I won't probably be the first week of November because I'm in Niagara Falls, Canada. But yeah, it's check out the show if you get a chance. I have a lot of fun doing it. So like I said, it's me, Mental 9R, Cool Cat Terry, Titan Drago had to bow out due to work and life obligations, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we never know. We may add another panel member in the future, but we're having a good time and looking forward to having Cool Cat joining us over there with her eclectic brand of shenanigans and stuff that she'll bring to the table. So looking forward to it.
Woohoo! Awesome. You looking forward to it, Terry?
I am. It should be interesting.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. And shout out here, one last shout out to 2PadStack7. Thank you so much for joining the show of the Real MVP. But guys, we wouldn't be able to do this show if it wasn't for you guys, the chat. And that's why you guys, the chat, will always be the MVP to any of the shows we do here on my channel. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Have yourselves a great Sunday. I'm Axel1324.
I'm Cool Cat Terry.
And I'm Eternal Shaddai. I don't know if I wanted to do this.
You are. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye, everybody.